Every MotoGP champion has taken a long, challenging road to the top. From childhood races on tiny bikes to competing on the biggest stage in motorcycle racing, the journey is intense. But how exactly do you make it to MotoGP? What are the different series, the requirements, and the key stepping stones along the way? In this documentary, we'll break down every level of racing that leads to MotoGP, from the very first mini bike races to the premier class of motorcycle racing. Let's dive in. For most MotoGP riders, the journey starts at a very young age. Many professional racers begin their careers between the ages of 6 and 10, competing in mini bike series. These small yet powerful motorcycles teach young riders the basics of racing: throttle control, cornering, braking, and racecraft. Mini bike racing is the foundation of road racing. Many top MotoGP stars, including Marc Márquez, Fabio Quartararo, and Valentino Rossi, began their careers racing mini bikes in national and international competitions. The MiniGP series, along with Ovail Cup and local mini bike championships, provides young riders with an entry point into competitive racing. Countries like Spain, Italy, and the UK have strong mini bike programs that are supported by talent scouts and racing academies. Costs for mini bike racing can range from $3,000 to $10,000 per season, covering the cost of the bike, entry fees, tires, and travel expenses. MiniGP, the bridge to larger bikes. The FIM MiniGP World Series was launched to create a clear path from mini bikes to higher categories. It is an international series where young riders compete on identical Ovail GP0 motorcycles, ensuring that talent, not equipment, determines success. Winning or performing well in MiniGP can open doors to junior talent cups, such as the European Talent Cup or National Moto3 Championships. Once young riders have mastered mini bikes, they move into junior-level competitions. Some of the best known include the European Talent Cup, British Talent Cup, and Asia Talent Cup. These series use Moto3-style bikes, but with less power, preparing riders for the next step in their careers. Here, young riders learn race strategy, compete internationally, and start gaining attention from talent scouts. JuniorGP and Red Bull Rookies Cup. The final steps before Moto3. Before reaching the Moto3 World Championship, riders need to prove themselves in highly competitive environments. Two key stepping stones in this phase are the JuniorGP Championship and the Red Bull Rookies Cup. The JuniorGP Championship is one of the most important proving grounds for young riders. Based in Spain, this series is often seen as a direct pipeline to Moto3, with nearly every current MotoGP star having competed here at some point. Unlike the Red Bull Rookies Cup, where riders compete on identical bikes, JuniorGP features various teams and manufacturers, allowing young talents to work with professional mechanics and learn the complexities of a competitive team environment. Winning in JuniorGP requires not just raw speed, but also race strategy, consistency, and the ability to work within a structured race team. The Red Bull Rookies Cup is another crucial step for young riders. This series runs alongside European MotoGP events, giving racers exposure to big crowds and the MotoGP paddock. All riders use identical KTM Moto3 bikes, ensuring that the competition is purely based on skill rather than team resources. Many past winners and top finishers in the Red Bull Rookies Cup have gone on to secure Moto3 World Championship rides, making this one of the most direct paths to the world stage.
Moto3, the first major step in the World Championship. Moto3 is where things start getting serious. This is the first true World Championship level many young riders reach, and it's known for its tight competition and aggressive racing. The official Moto3 World Championship is the first step on the global stage. This is where riders compete in full Grand Prix weekends, traveling worldwide alongside MotoGP and Moto2. Success in Moto3 often depends on team selection, sponsorship, and a rider's ability to adapt to high-pressure racing. Next up, Moto2, the middle ground. The next major step is Moto2. This is where riders transition from the small, nimble Moto3 bikes to more powerful 765cc Triumph-powered machines. The transition is often difficult, as Moto2 bikes are heavier and require a completely different riding style. Many talented Moto3 riders struggle when moving to Moto2, as the bikes require more precise throttle control and different braking techniques. Moto2 is often where true MotoGP prospects start to emerge. Top teams like Marc VDS, Ajo Motorsport, and Idaltrans Racing scout for talented riders who can make the leap to MotoGP. The selection process isn't just about results. It also involves team chemistry, sponsorship backing, and adaptability. Moto2 bikes bridge the gap between Moto3 and MotoGP, helping riders adjust to the higher speeds and more complex electronics they'll face in the premier class. Reaching MotoGP, the final step. The dream of every young rider is to reach MotoGP, but only a handful make it. So how do you get there? How MotoGP teams select riders. MotoGP teams are constantly scouting talent from Moto2 and Moto3. They look for young riders with exceptional speed, consistency, and adaptability. Contracts are highly competitive, and having the right manager and sponsors can make all the difference. While most riders come from Moto2, a few take alternate paths, like moving up from World Superbikes or getting wildcard entries in MotoGP races. However, jumping directly to MotoGP without the proper preparation can be extremely difficult. The Path of Champions. How MotoGP legends made it. Now that we've explored the structured path to MotoGP, let's take a closer look at how some of the greatest riders of our time made their way to the premier class. While the general path remains the same, each rider's journey has unique elements that set them apart. Let's examine the routes taken by Valentino Rossi, Marc Márquez, Francesco Bagnaia, and Jorge Martín. Valentino Rossi, a 9-time world champion, started his journey in minibike racing in Italy before quickly advancing to the Italian and European 125cc championships. His talent caught the eye of Aprilia, leading to his entry into the 125cc World Championship in 1996. After winning the title in 1997, he moved up to 250c, securing another championship in 1999. Rossi then progressed to the premier class in 2000 with Honda, winning his first MotoGP title in 2001 and going on to dominate for years. His ability to adapt, combined with an unmatched racing intelligence, made him one of the greatest of all time. Marc Márquez followed a similar but even more aggressive path to MotoGP. Starting in minibike racing in Spain, he moved through the Catalan and Spanish 125cc championships before entering the 125cc World Championship in 2008. By 2010, he was the 125cc World Champion, and in 2011 he transitioned to Moto2. His raw talent and fearless riding style led him to the Moto2 title in 2012. Just 1 year later, he debuted in MotoGP with the Repsol Honda team and became the youngest Premier Class champion in history. His meteoric rise showcased his adaptability and fearless racing mentality.
Francesco Bagnaia took a slightly different route, proving that persistence is key. He started in the pre-GP series before entering the CEV Moto3 Championship. In 2013, he joined the Moto3 World Championship but struggled initially. However, he continued to develop and won his first Moto3 race in 2016. He moved to Moto2 in 2017 and, by 2018, clinched the Moto2 World Championship. His consistency and smooth riding style earned him a place in MotoGP with Ducati in 2019. By 2022, he achieved his dream of becoming a MotoGP World Champion, showing that patience and steady progression can lead to the top. Jorge Martín's path highlights the importance of the Red Bull Rookies Cup. Winning the championship in 2014, he proved himself early on, earning a Moto3 ride in 2015. His breakthrough came in 2018 when he won the Moto3 World Championship. Moving to Moto2 in 2019, he impressed enough to secure a MotoGP contract with Pramac Ducati in 2021. Known for his aggressive yet calculated riding style, Martín quickly became a podium contender, proving that excelling in feeder series can fast-track a rider's journey to MotoGP. While each of these riders followed a structured path, their unique challenges, breakthroughs, and defining moments made them legends in the sport. Whether through early dominance like Marquez, resilience like Bagnaia, or steady progression like Martín, every MotoGP star has a story that inspires the next generation.